Hey everybody, this is Timothy Bennett here with B&B Banter Bros Goes to the Movies. Today we are going to finish up the Justice League Zack Snyder Director's Cut Part 2. And hopefully you've enjoyed the first part so far, and hopefully you'll enjoy the rest. Catch you later. With this film, did you feel that it was being pulled in the right direction from the beginning to where it was left up? Or did you ever feel like at one point you're watching this and you're going, yeah, I don't know what's happening, or where are they going next, or what's going on? Because there's a whole thing about the original to this one and all the other content. There's a lot more shit that's being piled into it that could kind of overlap or kind of skew the path a little bit. But did you ever feel that way? Like it was being like, where are we going with this? Even though you've already seen it, technically.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I know what you're saying. All right, so we get more backstory from Cyborg and Flash in this one. Aquaman doesn't get much. Like, I never really understood his purpose for wanting to join, besides, like, all right, I'm going to help, because, like, his people and Atlantia or whatever, it wasn't in danger like Wonder Woman's. I don't know. I was never confused, but it just felt like Batman and Cyborg were the only people that had, like, stakes in this, besides, like, saving the world. And, like, this is some fucked up shit we're dealing with. Like, we all need to band together, otherwise we're not gonna even see a chance of victory. And then, which doesn't matter anyways, because they had to resurrect Superman to find that victory. But yeah, Aquaman kind of was just like, could have, like, you were there. And you had some one-liners here and there. And then Wonder Woman, we know her story from other movies, but she was the other character. I was like, I don't know, you're flirting with Batman now, I guess. All right. I don't know. So those were the only two characters I was like, what's the point, or where are we going with this type of thing?
I think it's because they already had their own solo movie, though.
Yeah.
So you already got the answers.
But you want to have if he would have came out with this film as planned.
But they may have already been in the works of, hey, we're gonna give these guys their own film, so maybe.
So other than that, I was never like, what the fuck am I watching? What's the point of this scene? Everything moved quick. Not quick, but like the reasoning why.
No, I agree.
The reason why we're doing what we're doing, or we have a plan now. It was
an appropriate amount of speed. There wasn't anything that felt like it was drawing too long, and then I didn't feel like there was anything that was too short. It was a very appropriate amount of pacing of the film, or the beats of the film were it was spot on. It was really excellent. Like I said, the 4 hours did not feel like 4 hours, honestly.
No.
I watched like 30 minutes of it. Next thing I watched 3 hours of it, and I'm like, oh, shoot. It's time to make dinner. I pretty much watched it all in one day and didn't even feel like I wasted my time.
Right. But did you feel like you were questioning the direction of the film?
No. It makes a little difference of, like, I was paying pretty close attention to that kind of feel of, like, okay, the direction, what's going on, but the entire time I was also trying to, like, kind of remember what happened in the original.
See, I when I watched it, I was like, my memory's terrible. I haven't seen the other one in so many years. I'm just gonna look at this with fresh eyes. And obviously, like, Steppenwolf looks way better, and Cyborg, I believe, is like, there's different CGI costumes in whatever you'd call it, comic or character costume or art or whatever. To the CGI, is different than the original. That was noticeable, but I don't want to talk about comparisons, because I watched this one, like, I never saw it before, and I knew the beats. I guess.
See, that was the thing that I was trying to remember the original. I think just out of habit of trying to compare, what's different. But right away, just right off the bat with that intro,
just felt like its own.
Bruce Wayne trudging the tundra, like the tundra of Norway or where Iceland or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Over the mountain into this small little village was like, that was the one point I'm like, I know where he's going, but I'm like, what's this about? Like,
right.
Why is this a thing? Why is this here?
It just felt brand new, right?
Yeah, it just felt brand new, but it was like, it was just one of those things like, I know where he's going already. Like, I know what's going to happen, but I'm just like, what is all this? Like, so I think for me, it was a transition of just already knowing the sum of the film and all the stuff to just like, why is this so different? Why? Because like I said, I wanted to see this film, but I was kind of late to the game of knowing anything about it.
Yeah.
Until it was already almost out. And I'm like, oh yeah, fuck, I saw the trailer. I'm like, hell yeah, I want to watch that. That looks badass.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing I felt like with the whole Joker scene, right? Like, I was so happy to see more. All this new shit that he put in there was so cool. And then the original, like knowing that the Joker wasn't in the original other than just a little blip of him like driving the Lamborghini, I think. Or is that in the Suicide Squad? Maybe that's in the Suicide Squad. See, I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember at all.
Yeah, I think there's no Joker in the original.
Oh, no. In the original, it was, you see the Robin being killed, like the case with Robin's armor or whatever.
Oh, yeah?
I think that's what it was. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
That must have been some Easter egg I didn't see because I'm terrible at spotting those things. But I'm
not the greatest either. But I just, I felt like...
I know, I agree with you completely because in the beginning, you knew where Batman was going to talk with Aquaman, and you knew why, and you knew what was going to happen, but everything up there, I was like... Why does this look amazing like Empire Strikes Back? Like we're on Hoth right now. Like this fucking has a total different vibe. Like not to compare it to that, but it was just gave me that good feeling like Empire did.
And that is something why we were bringing up with Zack Snyder is this film had heart. This film had the emotional, it had the passion, the poetry.
And the colors to show it and let it shine, let the poetry shine.
It was just brilliantly done. I'm so glad this movie came out.
Me too.
I wish it would have come out from the get-go, but I'm glad that it came out. And I'm glad that it wasn't one of those big hyped things and then it just completely bombed too, or at least in my opinion, it did not bomb.
But you said technically it did, but it's on a different scale or platform. It's on in its own world. Yeah,
it did because it was a very expensive film, but I believe that he had to
release it
$70 million added just for the director's cut.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's unheard of. That's never been done.
Yeah, and the fact that the studios and all this people paid for this and gave this guy a second chance, and even Jared Leto to come back and get a second chance as the Joker is unheard of.
Batman
in that
Ben Affleck
industry
said he was done.
Yeah,
Ben Affleck, I'm not going to play
even
Batman
his
anymore.
reshoots. He was like, I didn't do that. And then later we find out, yeah, you did. And you look way younger in the reshoots. By the way, compliment to you, but there's a difference. It's obvious.
There was something that was asked, I guess, and I guess Ben Affleck made a comment that the only way that he'd play Batman again in the universe is if Zack Snyder directed it. Or
that'll help. That'll
that's
help
the
things.
only way that he would do it again. Because now I don't think it's going to happen because Robert Pattinson took over.
Right, but that's supposed to be like a standalone movie. But
I think but I don't know.
So that brings back the hope thing I talked about earlier, like, it's a canceled type. All these teasers aren't going to get new movies to answer these questions. Maybe that'll be one of the reasons to bring back the Snyder universe.
I will honestly say I think that Zack Snyder should just be the face of DC films because I think he's the only one that's really, really driving DC in a way that I like it. I'm not saying he should be directing all the films. Right. I'm just saying that he should have his hands involved.
He should be the Kevin Feige of the goddamn.
Yeah. That's exactly
nice.
Kind of what I'm feeling.
I agree.
Of the DC stuff because he's already done 2 films prior to that were in the DC universe. So or that were comic book. Sorry, not DC, but comic book. But I also just think that he's the most successful one that's done him. Because I feel like Wonder Woman was great. It was a great film.
Killed people in the beginning of this movie.
Well, I'm talking about her solo. Wonder Woman movie.
The first one was
great.
Good, yeah.
Not to mention female director.
Yeah.
So it was groundbreaking to introduce female director. It's not like it's a new thing, but it's been a rare thing that hasn't been a blockbuster, in the spotlight, big budget movie, female kind of director.
Female director, female lead.
Yeah, exactly. Female lead superhero.
Yeah, gotcha.
And it was revolutionary to bring in such a successful female lead / director film. And it's a comic book situation, which is just blowing up everywhere. Everything's turning into fucking comic books. The Hollywood is getting their greedy little hands on every little comic book they can eat up to make into something. And I hate to say it, but I absolutely despise that, and yet I want to see.
Yeah.
Because I want to see him be brought to life, brought to film, but I despise it at the same time because I'm like, they're just doing it to cash out. That's what I feel.
And
like
that's why we need Zack Snyder to have his hands in this shit,
right?
So he makes it look better and feel. I don't know.
I just think that Kevin Feige's doing a phenomenal job in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
And I think that
Zack Snyder
is doing a.
Yeah. So what do you think about Steppenwolf and Darkseid? Because the original, there was no Darkseid.
Yeah, you didn't get to see Darkseid at all. You didn't know. No, Yeah.
So,
like, how do I feel about it being introduced?
The relationship between Steppenwolf and Darkseid, the backstory of Steppenwolf and
I don't know much.
Two.
I don't know much about Steppenwolf.
Just in the movie, not comic books or anything.
Okay, yeah. So I thought it was good. I enjoyed that whole situation because basically Steppenwolf has a boss.
Yes.
And that's what I like.
And you get a fucking reason why Steppenwolf
is there. Other than just to collect these boxes.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Exactly. And it totally, once again, Star Wars comparison, but it reminded me of a Vader Emperor type of situation. And then Darkseid just kind of talks down to Steppenwolf like, you're going to disappoint me. You're going to be a little bitch.
Well, that's because, I guess because Darkseid is his boss.
Yeah, but
he's the ruler of Apocalypse.
But there's like a good villain, you always feel bad for a little bit. Like Black Panther's villain, or let's not talk Marvel, I guess, but
you feel
you know what I mean?
Bad.
There was a couple scenes where I was like, oh, Steppenwolf.
Well, so the only thing I would say is they led on to believe that he's paying a debt to Darkseid for failing him before.
Oh yeah.
So because he had to destroy
that's right.
He was 50,000 planets that he has taken over, destroyed, but he's having to work his way up to whatever. And that was where it's like you're halfway done to owing your debt to Darkseid.
Right. But yeah, I just felt like while he was saying that, he was condescending, like, I don't believe you'll ever pay off this debt. Like, I just felt that in his tone or whatever.
And it was right. They were right. I mean,
and another. Oh wait, sorry.
I was just gonna say because the one thing I had a little bit of an issue with was in the Dawn of Justice was Doomsday. Like I said that, and I think it's because Doomsday is a very powerful villain for Superman and the world, obviously. But like that's one issue I felt like they just decided instead of to build up these evil guys, these evil villains,
they just threw them in there.
Threw the badass of them
That's
all.
a good point, yeah.
And then they go, oh well, how can we top a bigger badass? Let's add Darkseid. Now I was like a little bit concerned, but the way they did Darkseid, he wasn't actually present in anything that was going on.
He actually never stepped foot on Earth.
Well, yeah. Well, he not in the present time because he did.
True.
He did thousands and thousands of years ago when he landed into the Amazonian and that whole war that broke out.
Oh yeah.
But that was also amazing.
Yep.
That whole battle scene in the beginning of the film was fucking epic. It was this fucking like metal. I fucking loved it so much. I'm like, where the hell was that in the original? Like, why couldn't that you could have just continued to do that and for another hour and I would have just been writing it.
Yeah.
It was so fucking bad. The whole Amazonian world is just amazing.
Yeah.
And then they just throw in Zeus in there and they throw in some other character. I'm like, what
that's
is
right.
this? This is fucking badass.
Damn.
Why wasn't this a thing before? And it was just and that's the nerdiness of me right there. That's the nerd in me that just got just so excited. And so yeah, when I saw Darkseid, I was like, fuck, that dude looks badass. He looks scary as shit too. It's intense, but he doesn't do a fucking thing. And I thought that was great. Like, I really liked that.
Yeah, and at the end, another teaser setup is at the end of the movie. Like, they prevent him from crossing over the portal, and then he talks to his next fucking apprentice. He's like, "I got plans," and I'm pretty sure they're talking about like controlling Superman or something like that. But I got plans, and they like walk away with this big army. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm never going to see those plans.
I agree with you right there. That's another little setup. Like, there's several of them, and I 100% just want more. And maybe somebody else will pick up the reins. I don't know. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah, that'll be the last time I bring it up, because you have a good point. Like, it's just because it's not told by Zack Snyder doesn't mean it can't be told.
Yeah. I just wish, and I think that he should be, like I said, his hand should be...
Yeah, no.
He should be an executive producer of all DC films from now on.
Yeah.
Because he's just doing, I like his stuff. And I think he does an honorable justice to bringing, like I said, the humanity out of these comic book characters.
Yeah.
Even the bad guys, even the aliens and stuff like that. That's the other one. Speaking of aliens.
At the end?
Martian Manhunter.
Yep.
I was like, fuck yeah.
Dude.
I didn't recall him being in the original, so I was like, fuck yeah.
No. You only see him in Supergirl or some shit like that.
Yeah. Oh my God. And I was.
And I'm pretty sure the voice is the same dude that does the character in CW Supergirl. Not that it matters, but
I haven't seen the
I thoroughly
so.
enjoy the show. It's CW cheesy, but I like it.
I should probably rewatch it.
And I'm pretty sure that he's the same person. But yeah, I was excited to see that dude, and it was a good conversation between them. And
yeah, it was kind of random too. I mean, you see him earlier when he talks to Lois, in the apartment, because he morphed himself into looking like Clark Kent's mom.
Oh my God! Did I not notice
Martha
that?
Kent. I guess.
Wow.
Not.
Yeah. Apparently.
And then he morphs himself into a military general. But that's the first time you actually see him.
Yeah.
And then you get to see him later on, and it was such a random thing because it's right after Batman. Bruce Wayne wakes up from his premonition dream, the other timeline.
Yeah.
He wakes up and he hears this crack, this boom, the sound, breaking the sound barrier, and you think, oh, it's Superman. He's gonna come visit because that's kind of his thing. And then you walk out there, and that's not Superman, and just kind of nonchalantly go, "Who are you, and why are you here?"
See,
so it's like, yeah, I wanted to see more of him. I'm like, why couldn't he be? Because he is.
So hopefully somebody takes the reins with that in the
powers.
future. Because that's another setup and a segue into another storyline and with that character. And because Ben Affleck just like, oh, that was whatever. All right, see you around, I guess.
Right.
I don't know.
Did you have any other questions? I thought you were gonna. I thought you were. You seemed like you were gonna ask another question.
Superman is probably that's low hanging fruit question, but
what? Like, what about him?
The black suit.
Oh, did I like it?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's supposed to be his father's. I think.
Oh, it's his father's suit?
I don't 100% know.
Because I know
it was supposed to be. Because at the time he was trying to, when he comes back and he was going through the ship and stuff, his father was narrating.
Yeah.
But I do remember that his father, in the Man of Steel, I thought he wore a black suit, but it wasn't like that. It was just a black suit. And so I thought it was supposed to be like him representing his home planet and him being kind of rebirthed.
Okay. So I just think it was
But
cool.
I don't
like,
know.
Like
That's just my
4-hour long
interpretation.
movie. Superman always came late, but like he's barely in the movie. He's at the third act, basically, right? Superman.
Yeah, at least halfway through. Yeah.
Like it's like 2/3. He comes in, and then they resurrect him. That part was different. Like Lois is just there randomly bringing officer, like she's going there to say goodbye for the final time. You can see it in her body language performance.
Yep.
And that was different. And she's bringing the security guard coffee or whatever. So she's there.
Which is super sweet, by the way. Nobody
she's there,
does that shit.
Exactly. She's there accidentally compared to the other version that I can't compare clearly, but I know it's different. And I thought it was done really well. They have their really cool fight. I'm pretty sure there was some better moments in that one.
I think that this had a little bit of a difference too. Yeah.
And then but yeah, the whole like he's gonna freak the fuck out and kill everybody, and all of a sudden he sees Lois and he's like, what's happening? And he's kind of like, it's not like an instant reset, but it's like I need to think about this. And then they hug and fly away, go to the farm, blah blah blah. And then he goes to that ship and he walks down and he kind of gets reminded about his purpose of saving the earth and his father, everything you just said. And then he just walks by the blue and red suit and the red cape suit, and he just looks at the screen, and next time you see him, he's in that black suit. And I thought it was because he was resurrected by the Darkseid power, or the Mother Box or whatever, so he's like stronger than he was before and has some Darkseid intentions, I believe.
Well, the Mother Boxes they don't have an alignment.
Oh,
they're just because they explain that in the film too. Is they have no feelings. They're not like, they don't have a evil or good. They're just they're basically computers or tools for change that change things.
Okay,
That's
so
really
it felt
all
like
it
it
is.
changed him, but I guess because Darkseid, I thought it gave him more of a darker type of, I don't know.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with Darkseid other than he wants them.
All right, well,
To be able to open up the portal.
black suit was cool as fuck.
It was cool. I liked it.
And then when he came in and fought Steppenwolf for the first time and just demolished the shit out of him like that was so entertaining.
And the fact that they brought that up to like in their little meeting, and then like when Bruce Wayne and the Flash and like Aquaman, and they were around that table,
yeah,
and they were kind of talking about what to do, what's next, and they bring that up as like, well, this happened almost immediately after the death of Superman, so they were afraid of him, and like you get that, and then you get to see it, then you actually get to see this fucking like shit in action, and yeah, Superman just fucking annihilates Steppenwolf. He just shoots his freaking antler off.
Yeah, the way he uses the lasers, the way he just sits on him and punches, and the impact, he captured it so well.
I especially liked when he threw his axe, or slammed his axe down, and he just stops and he just freezes it and breaks it like nothing. He's like, I'm not impressed.
Yeah. Oh, it was so smooth. Like, I'm a sucker for Superman. And then one last thing about Superman, when he died in the beginning of the movie, you know how they did the segue from the last movie in the beginning of this one. He dies all around the world. It's like a moment where everybody's like, what the fuck? Something feels different.
Yeah.
Same thing happens when he gets resurrected. I'm pretty sure everybody was
it's like, a death and rebirth.
But the whole world stops, or at least those Atlantia, the Amazon, like everything's just like something's different.
But that was what also triggered the box, was the death of Superman.
Oh.
And then, it was the rebirth of Superman. So basically, Hope had died, and then Hope was reborn. Yeah. So you're dealing with, I guess, a poetic analysis at that point of a film. But yeah, it was death and rebirth. So he died, and then the sound of his death crossed the world, and then his rebirth was also well known across the world. So, kind of going about that, they make it prevalent that Lois Lane is the key to
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah.
But they don't elaborate at all on that, other than what's on the surface, which anybody in blind man could figure out that it's just a setup to say like, oh yeah, because it's Superman's soft spot.
Mm-hmm.
It's his wife, it's his love, it's a soft spot.
Yep.
But
it felt like there was something more.
there's more to that.
Yeah.
And I do believe that that's what that alternate timeline at the end of the movie.
Because he's evil as fuck.
He's evil because Lois Lane died.
Yeah.
So
And that Mara lady implies that Superman killed the shit out of Aquaman.
yeah, Mira did say like he killed
what
Aquaman.
he did to Aquaman. I'm gonna put this.
Yep.
Sorry.
So that also led into the video game Injustice.
Okay.
And have you played that game?
No, but I remember there was
So Injustice.
I've heard
the video
good things
game,
about this, or maybe it was you that told me about
it's
it.
fantastic. The
That
storyline
story.
is fantastic. It's a super easy game to beat. Like
Yeah,
super
it's
easy.
just
I think I beat it.
It's just
within
a
like 2 hours.
versus game. Yeah.
I beat it like in 2 hours, but the story is good and it's dark. And basically, the Joker tricks Superman into killing Lois Lane. And I'm pretty sure they took that idea in that timeline,
Right.
because the Joker, I feel like they mentioned something kind of like that. I don't think they straight out said it.
Yeah.
I think there's like a if you know about it, you might go, I'm pretty sure he just admitted that he did something to
Make that
Superman
happen.
to make that happen, and now that's why everybody's so fucking afraid of him now.
Mm-hmm.
And they just went the whole Justice League or the Injustice
Right.
route, and I was just like, fuck,
Huh.
I want to know more about that.
Yep.
There's so many fucking unanswered questions, and I don't know what to do about it. I just want more.
Yes, and thanks for helping me with it, because I abandoned all hope, and thanks for talking me through it. Now I have a little bit of hope, and yeah.
Well, we'll find out, because I hope it's not done.
Yeah,
Even if it takes another 5 years.
it'd be stupid
I just
for them
hope
not
it's not
to,
done. Yeah.
or it would be stupid for them not to answer those questions.
Before we wrap this up,
Yep.
what would you say would be the best thing about this film? Even going in it without knowing about the original, like not comparing, but what do you think is the best thing about this director's cut? If you were to try to make your case about why this film should be put on the shelves of memorable films, or why this should be so important, whatever it is, how would you
It's really the cinematography. It's like the fact that every time I pause it, it just reminds me of opening a thick graphic novel and just loving the artwork. And why I love comic books because of how they're drawn and how intense they are. And it's just I don't know. I guess it's superficial, so I guess that wouldn't be like the reason why I'd be like, oh, this needs to be on the shelf because it looks amazing. But that was my go-to answer until you just made the question even more, added another level to it.
I mean, it's whatever answer you give, it's whatever you feel, but
yeah,
it's not like an actual answer to it. It's your opinion. It's how you feel about it. If that's your
it's really the
argument
beauty of it, because I mean, the only character arc that's really anybody should give a fuck is like Batman is on a redemption. He wants to fix his mistake of fucking up and not learning Clark Kent's mother's name before they fought. Like
Right.
he fucked up.
You couldn't just Google that shit and figure that out.
Couldn't even have Alfred do that,
right? He's got all this tech, all the tech in the fucking world. He's a goddamn bazillionaire.
But you see
and
my
yet he
point.
He couldn't figure that shit out.
Batman.
Who's Superman? Clark
Batman.
Kent.
Yeah, right.
He knew who the fuck he was too. Oh, farm in Kansas. Oh, Martha Kent. Oh, Jonathan Kent.
Right.
Oh, Crypto, his dog. You can. That's all. Yeah.
That's yeah. But that character is the only one. He was just trying to fix his mistakes from the last movie.
Yeah.
And he was so adamant about it because there was times where they were like too scared to resurrect Superman, and Batman was like, "Fucking do it." Like, it was very it was very self-serving of Batman. It felt like which was the right choice and everything, but
that's what
he just wanted to fix the mistake. What am I trying to say?
He was trying to redeem himself. Yeah, he's trying to redeem for the
mistakes he made and
for not acting on the proper side, whatever. I get it.
Okay,
but that's what I mean by like I think that this Batman is solid.
Yep. Because
he does hold on to the comic book Batman very well, and that's something that Batman is good at. So I've always kind of compared Batman and Daredevil as very equal opposites because they both have this. They're both skilled, martial arts, fighting, whatever, and they both basically have the same kind of mystery, whatever you want to call it. But Daredevil refuses, no matter what, to kill somebody. He won't ever do it. And yet Batman has the same thing where he just basically refuses to kill anybody. But there's got to be a fucking line. And in the comic books, in the Batman comic books, and even in the cartoons, like the Killing Joke and
even in Batman versus Superman, he kills.
He does. And that's where I'm like, this is that line. It's done and over now. And I just think that this is a great Batman. I really, really do.
Yeah.
Not to, like I said, discredit. It's just two different Batmans from Christopher Nolan's Batman to this. And I just think that Zack Snyder's appropriately emphasized the comic book feel. That's what it is. Like, that's what he does. Like, that's why I think he should just be a comic book person. DC's comic book.
So it'd be Batman's story of redemption in the superficial graphics or the cinematography. I just love it. Every time I pause, I just look at it like, what the fuck? That looks so amazing. The shots and the colors, like you said. You know how I'd love to ask you the same question you asked me, so.
It was a very, for as long as it was, I've sat through all three Lord of the Rings in theaters.
Yeah.
And they were about 3 hours, and then they went to 3.5 hours, and then they went to like 3 and almost 4 hours, right? And I did a marathon. I watched all that. And that was a long day just to watch all those. But then when I'm watching this 4 hours, it was like an hour and a half. I kept pausing, too, to go to the bathroom and stuff like that and completely not even realizing it's already been an hour and a half of me sitting here watching it. And I think that that's one thing about this film that I thought was just brilliant. Was the way that the beats were, the way that it was set up, just the writing, the way that the writing was, and the way that he edited everything. Obviously, I agree with you. I think the cinematography is just amazing. And I think that the story and the story arcs and all that, and all the pieces they put in together were just concise and coherent and just amazing. But it has to be the fact that he brought to life more of DC's characters and world than I've ever seen.
Yeah, no shit. Because, you're just remembering that question. Well, we talked about at work the other day about the difference between Marvel and DC characters and why these Marvel works and DC doesn't. But that's a whole different 10-minute conversation let's not get into. But yeah, all right. I completely.
He brought Deathstroke, which is something, even though it was just a quick blip, we didn't even get to see him before. So like he brought that into the world, meaning that he's now exposed and he can be whatever. And I want to see more of it. You see Lex Luthor back at it, Escape from Arkham, now with the shaved head, and you want to see more of that. I mean, you said it, you've been saying it through this entire conversation. There's just teasers after teasers after teasers, but that's what I loved. He exposed and he let all these little valves open for anybody to take and run with all of these characters that haven't been seen before.
Right on. Yeah, I never thought about that. I went the opposite way out. I was like, oh, I'm sad I'm never going to get answers to this.
I basically, the way I looked at this film and why I would fight for this film to be put up on the shelves or whatever, to be boasted, to be acknowledged as one of the most memorable films there is because Zack Snyder really opened up the DC universe for more possibility. More adaptations, more just like the Marvel universe has done from Iron Man.
I really hope people, directors, fans, see it the way you're talking about it right now. Because you're right. You're absolutely right. They need to take advantage of these doors that he opened.
Marvel's been doing it since day one.
But
that's why they're so successful.
That's Kevin Feige and his big picture.
But he wasn't always
stuff,
in it, though.
But we found the answer, Tim. Zack Snyder needs to be the Kevin Feige of DC.
He does.
He opened up the doors in this movie. That is an excellent point. I'm gonna be here for you when those doors don't get walked through. I'm gonna be here to listen to you yell about it in 3 years when there's none of these things get answered. And I hope that happens.
Yeah.
Or I mean, yeah.
I think it'd be amazing. I live for this shit.
I know.
I live for this. Like, that's why I love movies so much, and I especially love my comic books, is I love the worlds. I love to learn about these characters, where they come from, how they interact, what their abilities are. Everybody loves a good origin story, right? I want not just an origin story. I want the entire universe that has happened at that moment of those origin stories. So when I learn about, Darkseid, now that he's in there and then they bring him up again, I want to know everything there is to know about Darkseid. So do a fucking movie about it or something. It's just like Thanos. Like, I think it'd be great to do a Thanos movie because his backstory is really, really important to why he is who he is. And we didn't get any of that.
No.
And I think it would be amazing. Unless you read the comics, you don't know. Same with, these DC characters. Same with, like, Lex Luthor. I don't necessarily want to see an origins, but I want to see what Lex Luthor in the DC world is one of the most dangerous villains out there. Because he's just he's super intelligent, he's super rich, and he just...
Master of manipulation.
Yes, he's manipulative. Master. He is the most dangerous. And it's almost all for himself, too. That's the worst part about it, is he does it all just to stay alive, whatever. He'll play with either side he needs to, as long as he survives.
I completely agree. And I hope the people take advantage of these doors that have been opened by Zack Snyder.
Hell yeah. I also think that these characters, I think they did a decent job finding these actors too. Because I think that Jason Momoa is a great Aquaman.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed him as Aquaman.
Yep.
And it's not, they reamped the DC 52 Aquaman version for the movie Aquaman, but they took a different style of Aquaman himself.
Yeah.
As Jason Momoa's character, as Arthur Curry. They didn't copy from the comic books and stuff. They kind of changed it and they made it his own, and I thought it was great. I thought it was more present,
as
more
the
real.
Personality of the character? What do you mean?
Yeah,
not
personality,
just a
the
suit.
look, everything.
Okay.
I thought it was more present, more real, not taking it just copycat from the comics. Because it's a polar opposite look.
Yeah, I have no issues with any of the actors.
Nope.
I don't like the Flash kid, but he got fired anyways. But I just don't like him in Californication. But that's I don't know. That's irrelevant. But
are you talking about the Ezra Miller?
Yeah.
Oh, he got fired?
Yeah, there's some more PC shit going on, or
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
So he won't be.
He acted a fool.
Flash movie.
Yeah, he even I believe in the dream sequence. It's a different actor.
You know, I was wondering about that. I'm like, it's a different suit for sure.
I think it's they've already replaced. I'm not sure if that's the guy. I don't know that much.
I was not aware of that. I didn't know about that. See, I didn't do my research on this one.
Nice.
you got one up off me, so I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought Ezra Miller was a really good Barry Allen. I thought he was a really good Flash.
Exactly. I don't like the actor for some reason, but didn't mind him as the Flash.
Yeah.
Not for a second, even in the original. So
I thought the Cyborg guy was pretty good. Although Cyborg, I'm not gonna lie, he was probably my least favorite character of the entire movie. I just didn't really care for the Cyborg character, I guess. You know what I mean? He wasn't like my most enjoyable one. Not saying that he wasn't important by any means, because he was. But
yeah, we've already established he's the hero of this.
Yeah, it's not
Snyder.
anything to do with like he wasn't important.
Yeah,
he's not my favorite. Like his personality kind of sucked, and I don't know. He's kind of blah, but
moping around.
Yeah, but I mean, it was good for the story. It was appropriate. Just Cyborg as a character in general, even through the comics, I just don't care. But I like the Flash. I think that I really would like to see Ben Affleck be another Batman. I really do. I think he did a really good job.
Yeah.
No matter how many people want to disagree, I don't care.
Oh, I was one of those that prejudged when I heard about him taking signing the contract reins, back in the day. Fuck. Ben Affleck, Batman, really? And I was wrong.
Right. I think the difference is, and this is the same way I feel about anybody who has a dual identity, right? How are they with a dual identity?
Gotcha.
So I've had this argument with Peter Parker with the Spider-Man films since day one. The Sam Raimi film Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire just wasn't a very good Spider-Man, but he was a decent Peter Parker. And then you have the other remakes by the Sony remakes or whatever with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
And
Amazing Spider-Man.
I honestly I couldn't stand him.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good Spider-Man, not a good Peter Parker.
Damn. Nice. I agree with all this.
And then you have Tom Holland, who just fucking
Best
nailed
of both worlds.
He just fucking nailed it.
Fucking well done. I never thought about that. Yeah.
And then I feel the same way with every other thing that you have out there that's a dual identity. I think that Henry Cavill, Clark Kent, and Superman really aren't that different, honestly. Although they kind of try to be. Like, you get this stoic kind of ambient person of Superman being like, I'm this idol, I'm this whatever. You get that, but essentially Clark Kent is not as much of a goofball.
And to be fair, Henry never really got a chance to play Clark in these movies.
No.
But
I think Christopher Reeves was the one who did the best.
That Clumsy fucking stuttery.
But we also have to see more of it.
Yes, but that'll probably be the largest difference you've seen of Clark Kent and Superman.
Christopher Reeves did a good job at playing both.
Yeah.
Superman and Clark Kent separately. I think he's great. I think that he's probably the best Superman, but this is the best today's version. Yeah. Because even in that Superman Returns, I didn't really get that. He didn't do a bad job, but his Clark was a little like almost. He's basically just trying to copy Christopher Reeves through the entire film, in my opinion. Like his Clark Kent was basically trying to be like Christopher Reeves' Clark Kent. Yeah. And his Superman was kind of trying to be a little bit more like Henry, but this was obviously before.
Right.
And it just didn't. It kind of fell through, and it basically just turned into him copying Christopher Reeves, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I also feel like, though, that with the Batman thing,
Bruce Wayne.
I'm not going to go into the originals.
Yeah, right.
Like Tim Burton, and I'm not going to do that because you're dealing with a different kind of essence. But I will say that I felt like Christopher Nolan's Batman's, right? I felt like Christian
Bale
was more of a Batman and less Bruce Wayne. He had the Batman persona good, but I just didn't get that Bruce Wayne feel. Ben Affleck, on the other hand, has both worlds. I think he has a really excellent Bruce Wayne look to him and manner. He's a Bruce Wayne to me.
And especially that Bruce Wayne and Batman for so long, he's kind of like beaten down. This is an older. He had to come out of retirement. Kind of thing. Yeah, because I think in the first movie or whatever, the Batman versus Superman, after Robin died, I think he hung up his cape as well because he couldn't handle the death that was on his hands, and then I think he had to come out after this. Yeah. Yeah. So.
But yeah, he's beaten up. That's why there's no fucks given now.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck it. Like, I know what I have to do. And I love that. I thought it's dark. It's super dark. But I've always been a big Batman fan. Batman's always been my favorite.
And there's always eras of Batman. But, yeah, Ben Affleck. Yeah, fucking, I'm loving what you're saying about the casting
Dual
properly on the dual.
And that's,
that has been probably a big flaw.
I think that Ben Affleck held it very well on both ends.
Overlooked. Yes, I agree.
And I mean, we haven't had like an original Aquaman movie or even Wonder Woman. I'm not going to compare.
Yeah, both of them, like, they don't really have to hide their shit.
No, they really don't.
They don't. Yeah, they don't stack up.
And then the only other, I guess, character that I accept because I accept the art and I've accepted what he's done, and I think it's Jared Leto as a Joker. He's not my favorite Joker by any means. He added his own style of Joker, and I could accept that. Did I think he did a terrible job? Well, I don't think he did a terrible job as doing a Joker. In this one, it was better than his Suicide Squad. That's the comparison I'm really doing. But Jared Leto as a Joker, I didn't like that gangster, not a gangster thug, whatever his Suicide Squad.
Yes,
Joker.
Absolutely.
Did not
I think people call him the meth addict Joker or something like that, with the grill and the stupid tattoo on the forehead. But isn't that, like, when you say he did what he wanted, I feel like he just does what the writers want, or
what I mean though is
he is, I guess, pretty method. I guess
he's a method actor, so he has to find his character. He has to find his pocket. He has to find his group, whatever it is that he does as a method actor.
Yeah, he does take shit serious.
But I will say though, I did not like the Suicide Squad Joker.
Yeah.
But I thought this Joker was super appropriate.
Yeah. So
his whole speech, his whole dialogue, that whole monologue, I thought it was amazing. His
laugh though, in this Justice League scene we're talking about here, is pretty similar to the Suicide Squad Joker laugh.
It's the same Joker,
And so that's like, that's a small nitpick, but I definitely big difference between the two Jokers. I'm glad he got a second shot, and I hope somebody uses him for future fucking timeline stories and shit like that.
I mean, I don't think he did. Honestly, I think my least favorite, other than maybe Jared Leto's Joker, would be Jack Nicholson's Joker. I think that what did Aram say? It was like
Jim Carrey would have been a better role, even though the time. But anyways,
I don't know. We're out to discuss that.
Yeah, we better sum this up before we talk all night long.
Well, anyway, let's wrap it up. So, tonight we decided to talk about the Zack Snyder Cut. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's on HBOMAX. If you don't have HBOMAX, fucking get it. It's worth it.
Get HBO Max.
Yep, it's worth it. I think it's like $14.99 or something like that a month, but it's totally worth it. There's so much shit on there that I've been wanting to watch for a long time, and now I can watch it. It's paying for all of it. So, I'm Timothy Bennett.
I'm Jason Chandler.
And this is B&B Banter Bros. Peace.